Roll it.
Oh, yeah. 2 pre-rolls today. Want to thank our sponsor, DraftKings Casino. Download the DraftKings Casino app now. Sign up with your promo code JRVP. New customers get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more only on DraftKings Casino with the promo code JRVP. The Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, JRVP, is sponsored
Junior Vice President
by BetterHelp. Just not used to throwing that into the pre-rolls. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JRVP to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JRVP. We're back off the road, Anthony. We're talking about Anthony's lack of blinking. Jussie Smollett's back. And Renner's new tunes all coming up in episode 222 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Well, I do say, sir. I accuse this man of murder. That's right. Murder in the flower moon, I guarantee.
Well, I know what movie that's from, but what character is that in the movie?
That's the character John Goodman plays.
Okay.
And I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Killers of the Flower Moon, a masterpiece. This movie just came out Friday. I know I've been a little loose with spoilers in the past. I will not do that this time. It is a masterpiece, a 3.5-hour movie that I would have watched for 48 hours. I would have just sat there. I didn't know anything going in. I knew as little as possible. I just knew what everybody knows. You know, it's the Killers of the Flower Moon is based on the video game Bayou Billy. Aaron, do you remember Bayou Billy on the original Nintendo?
No, I do not.
8-bit. It was a game that everyone could beat.
It was a bad game.
It was a game that you played and everyone beat it eventually. You didn't just die on the second level and never get past it. You beat it. And if you look at the story of the game, it's very much Killers of the Flower Moon. It takes place in the swamps of Louisiana, and John Goodman's character shows up throughout the film and accuses people of murdering the Flower Moon.
I really loved Bayou Billy because you could beat it, and I think video game adaptations get a bad rap. It's on a little bit of a winning streak here. Super Mario Brothers, The Irishman, yeah,
Oppenheimer, Talk to Me. Yeah, it's really been a good. But yeah, again, go see Killers of the Flower Moon. I wanted to see it right away to make sure that I didn't get anything spoiled for me. I was hearing people talk about it, give opinions on Twitter, and I just went Monday night and banged it out. It was a great movie. I love Martin Scorsese so much. Other than that, was in Denver last weekend. We had a week off, didn't we? I had a few good weekends. I did a Saturday shows in D.C. Saw our good friend Steve Mercado. My parents came.
Whoa.
My parents are in the phase of my career where they enjoy everything, but my dad really enjoys entertaining people in my green room. He likes bringing people backstage and then not talking to me while he talks to them. And so I'm meeting all of these new friends of my dad in my green room. But I'm happy. I'm happy to do it. He's my dad. Makes him happy.
You don't sound thrilled. That happy. This feels like you're hitting out a little.
I told my family and the friends that came with them, shout out to the Kelleher's who came. I said, listen, the world is full of very nice people. I don't want to meet any of them. Will I shake the hand and make small talk with anyone my dad puts in front of me? Yes, I will. So that was fun. It was great to see my parents in Washington, D.C. Great shows all weekend. And then last weekend.
Wait, did they interact with Mercado? Did Mercado get backstage?
Mercado got backstage with a couple of friends. Mercado's looking good. And I don't know if he met my parents or not. I think my parents came to the early show and then went out, and Mercado came to the late show, so they missed each other. Mercado
could have brought up the time when your parents brought him to Commander's Palace, and he brought like a can of tuna. Did that not happen?
That's not.
That was his sister.
That wasn't Commander's Palace. It was a dinner in New Orleans after
I think
Mercado
it was
graduated.
Commanders.
It wasn't Commander's. because I was at that dinner, and it wasn't Commanders. It was something really nice, but did bring out a can of tuna for them to open for her and put on a plate so she could eat that instead. And we've never forgotten it. That and the time we met Steve Mercado's black cousin in Los Angeles. There were two shocking Steve Mercado moments that we'll get into later on in the podcast. We give people a reason to stick around through ads. So if you want to hear that story, wait. And then I went to Denver last weekend, Denver and San Francisco, and I've been looking forward to this. I love Denver. I love performing in Denver. One of the first cities that I was like, oh, they get me. I love it. It's a great comedy town. One of the great comedy towns, if not the best comedy town in America. I'm doing 4 sold-out shows. I'm pumped. The entire 36 hours 72 hours I was there, I thought I was going to die. I've been to Denver so many times, done so many shows. And people would always like, oh, the altitude, be careful with the altitude. Don't drink, don't do this. I drink my way through that fucking city every time. And I've never had a problem. I've never blinked in the face of altitude sickness. This time, I'm dead sober. All I drink is fucking Pellegrino all the time. My urine hasn't had a hint of yellow in it in a year and a half, Greg. And so I'm feeling like shit. I'm nauseous, and my breathing isn't great, and I just feel overall awful. I have a little bit of a headache, but I refuse to believe. People are like, it's probably altitude sickness. I'm like, no way. I'm taking care of myself this time. I'm good. And then the second night, and when I get on stage, I'm great. As soon as I get on stage, the adrenaline knocks everything out of me, and I feel great for that 55 minutes. And then I walk off stage and I'm like, oh, I kind of start to feel like shit again. So the second night I get there and I'm talking to someone and I'm like, my chest is tight. Where I'm like, am I going to fucking have a heart attack and die? Am I just going to hope that I get on stage and the adrenaline knocks out the heart attack? And so I tell someone, they're like, all right, let's get the medic over here. And like, oh, altitude sickness. Give me a couple hits of oxygen and an anti-nausea pill to dissolve under your tongue. And I was like, oh, this is what I've been feeling the whole fucking time. It sucks. And as soon as I got that night was much better. And then as soon as we left Denver and landed in San Francisco, I was like, oh my God, I feel like a human being again. I could not believe it. I am so old. I don't know how I used to drink and go through that shit. Be on an airplane going to Denver.
I mean, maybe it's all that Pellegrino. Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe you shouldn't be. I know you were saying that you piss clear, but pissing it back into the Pellegrino water, because it's that, amazing, and then re-drinking it. Maybe that's what's doing it.
You see, this is Greg being jealous because he doesn't have Pellegrino. My mom calls it my special water when I come home to visit. Okay? And you know what it is special, Mom? It is special water. My urine is a Scientologist. It's gone so clear. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I have a week off. I got home Sunday from San Francisco. Immediately watched the Steelers game. Got home. Got to watch Steelers and Chargers on TV, national game. Or, local game, whatever. Steelers.
It was the Rams.
Super Bowl. Yeah, Rams. Same difference.
Broke your goddaughter's heart, this game.
Yep. I was going to call and talk shit, but I decided not to.
She would have been pissed. She was thrilled today when the Rams cut their kicker. Her and Emeka, they had it out for blood for this kicker. They're legit fans. Now Emeka's all in on the Rams too.
Do you feel like it was easier for them to take knowing it was against the eventual Super Bowl champs?
I don't think that helps. No.
Kenny Pickett is unstoppable.
Steelers suck. They're the worst 4-2 team ever. But I've watched enough NFL seasons now. I actually am convinced that they're gonna be good, because the team that stacks wins early while they suck, at some point usually becomes good. Most people are saying, oh, the Steelers are gonna come back to earth. They'll suck eventually. It's no, actually at some point they'll figure their shit out and they'll have a good record. And then annoying fucks like you and Damashek are gonna be, dancing around in a divisional round or something like that.
I'm happy to do it. Anytime I see Damashek, Dave Damashek, I dance with him. He is my dance partner for life. I think Mike Tomlin made a deal with the devil, and they were like, if you shake my hand and give me your soul, you'll never have a losing season. And now it's just 9-7 for eternity. Never bad enough to get a good draft pick. Never good enough to make a real noise in the playoffs. But let me tell you something, Pittsburgh. You got to stop it with the Fire Canada shit. it has crossed the line into bullying. It was funny for a little bit. I feel bad for the guy.
That's their offensive coordinator.
That's the offensive coordinator.
Country.
Yes. The country's got to go. I've been clear on that. We got to stop paying them for the work they're doing. It's shoddy. But Fire Canada, I hope they sign to an extension. I love the Rooneys. I love Mike Tomlin. I'm loving Omar Khan. Trust the team a little bit. Be kind.
You should have been there. I was at work. It was all Steelers fans.
I believe it.
I mean, it was like 85 Rams fans that were there told me they've never. I mean, it's always a lot of opposing fans, but they said this is the most ever. It was about 85, 90%.
I've been invited by my good friend Richie, a guy who runs the Comedy Store. He was a big Steelers guy, and invited me to the game, but I could not get there in time from San Francisco. But again, guys, leave them alone. We're 4-2. Stop it. I love you, Pittsburgh. Look at my hat. Watch the YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. What else happened this week? Oh, okay. So I don't like to, I know there's a thing, kind of a pushback in podcasting now where it's like, stop showing too much bling. People have their podcast and they go to brag about their lives. Hey, we got to do this. Hey, you know, like Greg a couple months ago got to sing the national anthem at a NASCAR race. We didn't talk about it because we don't want to brag and be like, oh, our lives are better. Our penises are longer. That's what podcasting has become a lot of. So we don't talk about a lot of behind the scenes things we get to do, a lot of the cool shit we get invited to.
Yeah.
You know, when Bill Burr came in today, Bill's all excited about Bad Dads. Bad Dads on Netflix premiered, I believe, Friday night. Am I wrong?
Are you saying it wrong on purpose?
Old Dads.
Old Dads. I'm sorry. I'm confusing with Bad Moms.
Yeah.
When you think of the top comedies of all time, it's Bad Moms and Old Dads. Old Dads, great movie. Bill's excited, obviously. I think critics have been kind to the movie. I think fans have liked it. I watched it. I watched it with Liz. We both enjoyed it. I said it's better than it has any right to be. I think Old Dads is a bad title for the movie. I think it doesn't let you know how good it's going to be. You know what would have been a better title, Aaron?
What?
Bad Dads. Bad Dads tells you exactly what you're getting. Old Dads, I don't know. What's old? That's relative. Bad, that's absolute. They're bad dads.
Sure.
Bad Old Dads? Bad Old Dads is good.
Bad Old Dads. Good, yeah.
Bad Old Dads, I mean, there's your sequel. But the movie's great. Bill's all excited. Rolls up in here in his brand new, his brand new Mini Cooper that he's all proud of, except wants to drive us around. We're like, we got to do the podcast. And then he just did wheelies. And I don't mean donuts. I mean wheelies in the parking lot for 5-10 minutes, screaming out, Battle Dads. Check out Battle Dads on Netflix. It's very good. But
Bobby Cannavale was just like, why do I have to be riding shotgun for this every time you do it?
Bobby's great in the movie.
He really is.
My good friend Bobby. Anyway, Greg and I got to do something cool last week we will tell you about. So Greg and I, again, flying private, we go to Montana a couple weeks ago. I had a couple of days off work, and we got invited to the Jeremy Renner initial listening party for the new album, Love and Titanium. And again, I know I'm always like kind of nitpicking titles. I said, hey, Jeremy, Blood and Titanium.
Ooh.
And he was like, I already printed up the covers. So, no. But he played us all 12 tracks. It was very much like, I think it was exactly where Kanye would do his listening parties. The same kind of bonfire thing in Montana. But Jeremy's was during the day. Sponsored by Jeep, of course. And then played us all the songs, all 12 songs. And then I was like, hey, Jeremy, can I get a little something for the iPod for the way home? And he was like, you're out of your fucking mind, Jeselnik, like always. And then gave me the hug.
Yeah.
Gave me another guitar. You didn't get a guitar this time.
It was weird. You even had the connecting wire to hook up to your iPod to download the songs before you left.
Greg's 100% right. I had the connecting wire in my hands. As I was talking to him, it was like, let me make it easy on you, Jeremy. And he was still like, nice try, bad boy of comedy, he said to Greg. And he plays the songs, and they are amazing. I mean, obviously, Love and Titanium is a great song. It's that's why he opens the album with it. Although even the song I thought should be called Blood and Titanium. but I liked the. It starts out, Love and Titanium, obviously a ballad, and then he goes into Not Today, Motherfucker. And when Not Today, Motherfucker, that thing hits so hard. He said he had to retrain himself to play guitar, to play speed metal for Not Today, Motherfucker. And it is, the lyrics are, and I'm not spoiling it, Not Today, Motherfucker, over and over again. And then he slows it down once more time with Time to Move Back to the City. Time to Move Back to the City is a little bit like, it's a little song about regret. He's like, why, I got a good deal on the land, but at what cost? It was a good lyric.
Right.
And then it's Snow. I don't think it's good now. It's kind of it sounds like it's almost like for kids.
Yeah, I mean he has so much variety. That was kind of like the Snow portion of the album. Like you get deep into it. You get deep into the Snow. I think like that. It was a kids. It gets you sort of in a light mood, and then he hits you with the banger Snow You Don't.
Snow You Don't was I had never heard him rap, and I didn't know he could rap, but he can rap. He can rap, for sure. And these lyrics, I mean, they were tailor made for him. It's him telling his story. But that was a really good one. I also liked Next Time Call the County. When you need help, in parentheses.
Right. Yeah.
I like that one. That was good. But then
the choir that he got to say when you need help, like was just like it's very touching.
Mm-hmm. A children's choir. I mean, and I asked him, I was like, children's choir? He goes, of course, children's choir. And then it finishes out with Hawkeye Part 2, Hawkeye Part 3, and then finally the album closer, Not Today, Motherfucker Part 2. And they're all amazing. I mean, you'll hear.
Right.
Anyway. I asked him, I was like, are you doing the Beyonce Lemonade deal with this? Mm-hmm. Is it going to be the movie that you drop on HBO in the middle of the day and I never see? And he said no. It's
also cool that like he's bringing it back, not just with the iPod stuff, but like if you let that long last song just play out for 8 straight minutes, then you get like the emotional resonance to really finish it off. Plow My Heart.
Mm-hmm. If you love Jeremy Renner and you like Jeremy Renner when you're in your love, okay, you're in love, but there's 2 levels of love. There's Hawkeye love, and there's Ronin love. And Ronin love's not as strong. Ronin's when he kind of goes bad, goes to Japan and kills like every Asian person he sees until Scarlett Johansson shows up. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scarlett Johansson shows up. You're gonna like this album. His last album I feel like was a little more Ronin. This one's a little more Hawkeye. And now it's time for. Oh wait, Aaron.
Yeah.
You have some news.
Yeah, I'm going to see the State reunion tonight.
Is it one show, 2 shows?
It's one show.
One show. Where is it?
The Novo downtown.
The Novo. I don't know.
Formerly Club Nokia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the State. Really enjoyed the State as a kid, and I followed them to Viva Variety on Comedy Central. Didn't think it was as good, but I liked them. And then obviously Reno 911 and all the cast members have done great things. Yeah. Reminds me of a story that I don't think I've ever told. I think this was Greg was still in LA at the time. This is when we first moved. Okay, I'm first getting into comedy.
Right after college, we lived there for 2 years. Roommates.
This is a little over 20 years ago now, where I think I'd either gotten on stage for the first time or was about to. Was like taking the comedy class, and this is after 9/11. Because I remember Mr. Show with Bob and Dave did a tour called Hooray for America. That was like a Mr. Show Greatest Hits, but like a live tour. And when I was in college, I loved Mr. Show so much. That was like, this is my comedy. These are my guys. This is edgy. These are funny. It's clever. It's smart. I want to be just like them. And I was like, I want to be Bob Odenkirk and David Cross. I'm just going to copy them. And that's my thing. And then they come to UCLA, like a theater there, and I have no money. But I scraped together money for 2 tickets because I know like no one's gonna buy a ticket to come with me. I get 2 tickets and I take Chris Nelson, our roommate at the time. It was me, him, and Greg. Greg must have been working or some shit. But we go, and after I buy the tickets, and I get the worst seats in the house, the worst seats. And right after I buy them, they add a second show, and I'm like, fuck, I would have gone to that, but whatever. I take Chris, we get there, and I'm so pumped. I'm like, I'm going to soak this all up, and this is going to be my nourishment as this is going to start me off in my career. The show's a 90-minute show, and it is so bad. And I don't know how good it could have been because the microphones weren't working. It was like some shoddy mic thing, and you keep missing lines. The audience is yelling at people in the front are laughing. People in the back, and I'm in the worst seat. I can't hear shit. They stop to fix the microphones, come back out. It happens again, keeps happening, and they're like, "Oh, we just have to go. We have a second show tonight." And so they just do this. They just finish out the show. Nothing's funny. No, you can't hear shit. And they go, "Sorry about that. Good night, everybody." And everyone like claps and leaves. And I was so devastated. I was so like this. That was so terrible and so like heartbroken that I was like, "Fuck those guys." And again, I've met David Cross since then. A nice guy. Bob and Cook had never met. I'm a huge fan. Great guy. But I think that was a huge moment for me. Like, I'm not going to copy them at all. Fuck those guys.
But wasn't it mostly just because the mics weren't working?
It was 100% because the mics weren't working. But because
seems like a strange tack to take from
because
you
the ticket was so expensive, I was just I was going to buy merch on my way out and was like, I'm not buying merch. And then was like, I need to aggressively find my own thing. And there were my generation of comics got wiped out trying to be like Mr. Show. So I was like grateful to it. But it was like amazing that you could see something that would be so bad that it would influence you as much as seeing something great. So, you know, if we come in here for our next podcast, Aaron, and you're like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Fuck the state. I want to be a cook now. We'd respect it.
Sure.
And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Did we get any notes?
You bet we did. Greg's got some house cleaning to do up top. What do you
Well,
got?
we mentioned how we were missing a couple shows. We are out Halloween week. That is next week if you're listening to this right after it goes up. And then we're back. Then we're back for a good stretch of shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm out of town a bunch. Greg's out of town a bunch. I got some things going on later in the year. It's a lot going on, but we are going to make sure that you, the listener, and the YouTube viewer are taken care of sexually. I got a present, and this one is touching to me. I've gotten some cool stuff. I've gotten some cool books. I've gotten some cool gifts, some homemade things that I always appreciate. But this one takes the cake. I'll read the letter first. Anthony, firstly, a big thank you for your very kind and sincere words in the podcast. I was elated to hear you and see you feature my work, and it truly means a lot to me. After hearing your newest hour of comedy, he came to a show on the road, one thing became evident. You're still brilliant, and the importance of your first joke, not only to the comedy world, but to you. During my new hour, I talk about the first joke, my first big joke, and talk about it on stage. And I won't read the rest of the letter, but John Budzinski, John J. Budzinski. This letter, first of all, is beautiful. The calligraphy is amazing, but the wood carving of the first joke that I talked about. I won't spoil the joke, but it was talked about.
I mean, it's
hour.
on your first special.
Yeah, it's on my first hour. If you listen to Shakespeare, it's on there. If you saw me in my first 10 years of comedy, you saw that joke many times. But this is carved into wood. It is absolutely beautiful. This is going up in my house for sure. Thank you very much. It's unexpected and, again, touching.
It's really cool. It's the joke I've seen you tell the most in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, you had it early, and it's the only one that you had early, and that's when I saw you the most, was your first 3 to 5 years as a comedian. So it's the only one that made it all the way through, all the way to Shakespeare, where it always stuck with you. And it was a great joke.
It was a joke that set the bar for like all the jokes have to be this good, and I'm still very, very proud of it. So thank you for my chocolate addiction joke carved into wood. Speaking of touring, actually, no, Greg got a gift too.
I know. I got sent a Naomi Osaka biography by Ben Rothenberg, who I really like a lot as a tennis journalist. I used to listen to, or still do listen to, his podcast when he comes out. No Challenges Remaining. So looking forward to reading that on Osaka.
Shout out to Penguin Random House. Lastly, big news for all the Jeselmaniacs out there who listen to the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
On next week, on Monday, following this episode, we are announcing my tour dates for 2024. I have booked January through April. One of these will be a special taping, and they will be announced on Monday.
October 30th. Say the date. You never know when people are going to listen to this.
Yeah, whatever. They're up. They're up. Unless you're listening to it right away, it's out there.
October 30th.
So yeah, they come out, and then they'll announce the pre-sale. They'll happen Wednesday, and then everything will be on sale on Friday. Let me give you a little taste of what you're getting here. And again, I've done a lot of the bangers already this year. We're kicking it off. We're kicking it off January 11th in Boise. Boise. I got a whole fuck ton of casinos. I'm getting San Antonio. I'm getting Houston, Tulsa, Albuquerque, coming back to Phoenix because they love me so much. Norfolk, Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, Toronto? Did you want some of this?
Toronto.
That's right. Cincinnati, Columbus, back to Cleveland to make up for that fucking fiasco. I'm coming back to New York after Carnegie Hall. Coming back again. Los Angeles.
Oh yeah,
You can catch me. You can catch me at the Baltimore.
I don't know if we're making it to San Diego, so we need you.
Yeah.
I need you. That's my time.
You can catch me in LA, and then Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Philadelphia. One of those will be a special taping. We're figuring it out. So that's what my year's looking like next year. I mean, again, I'll give you the dates in effect on Monday, but I'm very excited about it. It's going to be easier schedule-wise than this year has been. But I've been having a blast on the road. Again, I'm thrilled I have this week off right when I needed it. This is my bye week, and then I will be back out. It's a lot, but it's also a lot of money. And that was Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
You know, I got to talk about another gift. Some of these theaters have been giving me gifts when I come through. They're like, hey, you sold out a bunch of shows. Let us commemorate it with something. So it's like one I got a cool club gave me like a brick that was like carved into it, like 2 sold out shows on this date, Anthony Jeselnik. I got an album with like all that information on it in DC. And then in Denver, the guy who works for Comedy Works out there, who runs the show, got me a giant picture of Jack Lambert on the field in uniform, autographed in black and white. And I was like, I thought it was just like in the fucking dressing room. And like, no, that's for you. I couldn't believe it.
Is Jack Lambert alive?
Yeah. He's thriving. Better than ever. And now it's time to take it down to a place that's never thriving. We have given it water. We've given it air. We've had sex with it repeatedly. It's Email Corner.
Email corner. Email. Emails are a thing. Emails. Email corner. Emails. It's email corner.
It's funny to me that everyone was always whipping the nay wrong. If you just watched what I just did, that's how you whip the nay, and everyone's been doing it wrong.
That's what you say.
That's what I say. Have I been saying it right? I have. Greg, what's a thing? What are a thing?
Emails.
Aaron, is he right?
Correct.
Emails are a thing, and we get them. We get so many that sometimes we're like, this is too many. We need to talk about this on the air, and that's exactly what we're doing right now. Greg, give me 3 of them. Pick whatever you want.
Shout out to the guy, by the way, who jumped out of his Uber when I was in London, ran up to me, and then had me autograph, and he had like an autograph book. Emails are a thing with my name on it. Was a big JRVP fan. And then he said, I'm going to save this page for Anthony at the blank show. And I was like, let him know. So this is me letting you know.
Thank you. I will, if you have the book and you can show me Greg's signature, I will also sign it.
It was kind of amazing for a guy to just like run up on me out of an Uber because he saw me while I was walking around to bookstores in London. Anthony and Greg, I need your help winning over a girl. This girl and I have known each other for almost a year. We're good friends. We see each other in person most days. We talk a lot. We text. She has a boyfriend. They've been together for a little over a year. They're both grad students, but he goes to college out of state. They don't see each other much. I'm not a student. I work at the university. I'm not a professor. I'm a librarian. It's not quite Dane Cook level, but she's 24 and I'm 39. We see each other so much because she comes to the library almost every day. Sometimes we'll spend hours talking. We flirt sometimes, but I've never made a move for obvious reasons. He bought 2 tickets to your show. She's coming with him. She's super smart, has a good sense of humor. I don't think her boyfriend knows. I've been a casual dater most of my life. I'm out of my zone here. I'm used to dating strangers, not someone I know and really like. What advice can you give me to help my chances? Love you guys, Adam.
I'm so glad he came to us with this. Greg, what do you think?
I mean, this seems like trouble to me, the whole thing.
Working at a university, this is what happens to you.
Yes.
He's lucky that she's 24, and I don't believe him. She's a grad student at the university.
I believe him just because the rest of, like, if he was going to lie, he would lie more than this. You know what I mean? Like he would have hid more than this. So I think he's pouring his heart out. But I don't like the secrecy. I don't like that she has a boyfriend. Book I read recently, one of the characters said to each other, it's like where there's a secret, there's shame. And there's shame is something you don't want. So it's like just be completely forthright with her. Just tell her exactly what you just told her. See if that works. Do it even before the show. Don't even go to the show. Stop messing around. End this friendship, essentially. Make it happen or not by being like, look, this is how I feel about you, and see what happens.
You were so wrong. So wrong.
Also,
I mean,
can you
listen,
get? I guess it's not a problem to
you can be
date
friends.
your students.
No, he's not. She's
I
not
know,
a student.
but it's
He's
still
not giving her grades.
There's something weird about it.
He's not giving her fucking Dewey Decimals. There's no power dynamic. What's she gonna be like? I can't check out this book anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think he's being respectful. She's got a boyfriend. He's like okay. He's letting his feelings take over. You know, I think this is a situation that you can take a little trick out of my playbook and send her a dick pic. Listen. You've set the groundwork in. Bring the plane home and land it with a picture of your dick. Get her. I assume you have her number if you're taking her to the show. I would wait until she gets in your car, start to drive, and then hit send. So she gets it while she's sitting next to you, buckled in, on the highway. And I think if you do it smoothly, you should be home free.
Okay, couple questions.
Shoot.
Number one, does it have to be his dick? Like, if he's not happy with his dick, could he send someone else's dick?
You've got two options here when it comes to a dick pic. All right, this is coming from me, and I'm not an expert, but I've sent out. If you look through my phone right now, you cannot find a picture where my penis is not visible.
I just sent you some pictures of the family, though, so it's just like a
Photoshopped already. Photoshopped immediately. They're in there because you never know. You never know. Send it to, definitely text her when she's in the car, because that'll be fun. And then go to the show. And then afterwards, like right when she's about to hug you goodbye, whisper in her ear, "Did you get the picture?" I think that could work. Or you could go to the show after you've laughed together, you're laughed out, you're walking out, you're wiping away tears, you're letting your face go back to a normal color from the beet red it's going to be. And then when she's like laughing and breathless, and you look at each other and catch each other's eye, and there's a spark there, you say, "Your boyfriend sucks. I'm in love with you. I'm not too old. Check your phone."
Our next question asks all of us, including Miss Kim, Aaron, and Billy. And good luck to our first guy, Adam, by the way. You know, you came to the right place. Our next emailer asks, if you could pick one talent in which you become a prodigy overnight, what would you choose? Comedy's not an option for anyone.
Do you have an answer for this? Aaron, why don't you go first? What would you, if you could have you're a prodigy in any talent overnight, what is it?
100%. It's blues guitar.
Whoa.
So you wouldn't just say guitar. You're not a guitar expert. You're blues guitar.
I could just say guitar. Yeah, sure.
Okay. And so, how does that change your life? Like, let's say you wake up and you can play blues guitar better than anyone has ever played blues guitar. Mm-hmm. Do you just you immediately go buy new clothes? Do you never get a haircut again? Do we never see your eyes again because you're wearing sunglasses all the time?
I definitely get some nice sunglasses.
Would you ever take off a guitar strap? Would it just always be around you and you're just playing it? Or do you just live your normal life and then you noodle around at night at bars?
No, I think I hit the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're leaving your family behind.
Yeah.
Hello Blues, goodbye daughter. Okay. Greg.
Well, it said comedy's not an option, but I'm already a comedy prodigy. So I had such a similar answer. I went drums. I don't know if you go back in are you going back in time and then you can get start out a career?
It's right now.
But it doesn't matter. In this case, I'm so fucking good at drums. I think that would be the instrument to play because you're kind of in the background. You're cool. You always get great girls, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, fuck, Greg's the best drummer on the planet. Everyone's hiring me. I'm hitting the road. You just didn't see this coming. I can tour the world.
Same question. I mean, listen, you've never said the word drums to me in 25 years of friendship. Never once.
I'm not even interested. I'm just picking something out of nowhere.
Okay. There's a random selection.
Yeah, it's not something I've ever tried to do.
You wake up tomorrow, you're the best drummer in the world. Do you change how you dress? Do you just go back into the NFL and you're like, hey, Calvin Ridley's doing something, or are you kissing that goodbye and going on the road?
No, I'm gonna try to make something out of this. Okay. I don't know how. We're gonna come up with a strategy. Me and my agent, my drumming agent.
You're the new Travis Barker. I was gonna say chess because it wouldn't matter how old you were. And I think it's really cool. Like when I was a little kid and I saw the video for Straight Outta Compton by NWA for the first time. And they show NWA walking through a party. They're rapping into the camera. And they're walking through a house party and they're just gently shoving everyone as they walk past them. Just a little shove to let them know, you're not going to do shit, but we would finish it if you did. And I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Now that I'm 44 years old, I think that level of coolness, and I put it towards chess masters. When it's a room full of people playing chess and they're playing some fucking guy from Czechoslovakia who only knows chess, and they're so bored that they just start looking at other games and getting up from the table and walking away. I fucking love that shit. That I would want to do that. I would want to go to the park and go to Chess Hustlers and just fucking ruin all their lives. Go back to drugs, you fucking loser. I'm a prodigy. Or drums.
I want to redo drums.
Can't redo drums, Greg. That's how drums work. Next question.
Nick asks, he wanted to tell you that they saw the DC show, favorite live show he's ever seen. Yeah. However, Claire, his wife, noticed something early in the show he couldn't shake. She turned to me and asked, does he not blink? I dismissed it at first, but it stuck with me. I couldn't help but notice she was right. Kept staring at Anthony's eyes, waiting for him to blink. Never came. I'm sure he blinked at some points, but I'm wondering if this is a comedy staring thing or some weird biological fact about Anthony that he doesn't blink much even with bright lights in his eyes. R.I.P. Seaweed. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that.
I chose this question because I didn't think about this until I read the email, and I was like, oh yeah, he's right. Yeah, I don't think I do blink on stage, and I think it's for these two reasons. One, as I mentioned earlier, from the second I walk on stage to the second I walk off, I am jacked with adrenaline. It is flowing through me in a way that my hands are still, but I am just ready. That's how adrenaline works. If I had a child and a car fell on it and I had to save the child, I would think, what's it like being on stage? And then save the child's life and throw the car as far as I could, which would be so far. And also, I'm having an antagonistic relationship with the audience when I'm on stage. Again, I'm grateful everyone's there and everything, but I tell my jokes I'm angry at them. And I think that lends itself and feeds into the adrenaline, and I'm just staring. And I will blink, but it's usually when I'm walking over to get a sip of water, or I'm walking and I turn away from the audience for a second. But I think when I'm looking at them and telling jokes,
it's not conscious,
I think I don't blink.
Is it?
No, I'm not don't blink. It's not I want to blink and think don't. It's just I'm focused in, I'm fired up, and I'm intense on stage. I'm an intense boy.
Intense boy. Adrenaline, that's a real thing.
Battle dads.
Last year on that London trip, I found out after the fact, I did a show with a raging case of COVID. Felt like absolute shit. It completely went away 20 minutes before our live show, and I felt awesome while I was on stage and for an hour after, and then it came back.
Yeah, so you were just spreading it around with these.
I mean, I didn't know this. I wouldn't have done it. It didn't occur to me.
Mm-hmm.
until a couple days later that it just was not a cold.
Sounds responsible to me. And that was Email Corner. Be a thing.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite. Diamonds around the world unite.
Now it's time for
Ad copy.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
what?
Look, therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back in your life. Like if you feel like you know what you should do, but you can't just do it. Like I think as you get older, you have a better self-knowledge and you can think about the mistakes that you make. But when you're younger, you need help. And when you're older, you need even more help because you got more shit going on in your life. It doesn't have to be like major mental crises. It can be an argument or something that you're having at work, struggling in your relationship. Therapy
Bottom
can help
line-
you be the best version of yourself.
Bottom line, you need to fucking get it together. Fix your shit with BetterHelp.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, you give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's convenient. It's suited to your schedule. And like I said, you know in the back of your head what the right thing is, but the only way you get to knowing the right answer is you talking it out with the therapist. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Again, it doesn't have to be people just that experience major trauma. It's about learning positive coping skills. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JRVP today. You can get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JRVP.
You need to straighten up and fly straight.
You can also step in.
It's my way or the highway.
He's not lying. You know what you can also do? You can step into a world of non-stop action on DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and the slots. You can also play exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers can get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. So all you got to do, you sign up, you select the offer, you make your deposit, and then you just start playing those games. It's safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit, you can withdraw your cash whenever you are ready. I can't believe this stuff is available. When I was a kid, I used to dream of days like this. You know, when you could do this.
You need to
What
fucking
games do you
figure
like?
it out. Screw your head on straight.
It's also very easy. The DraftKings Casino app, you just download it. You sign up with the promo code JRVP. And like I said, new customers can get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more only at DraftKings Casino with promo code JRVP.
I wasn't asking. And that was.
That was not. We got a disclaimer here. Terms, conditions apply here.
I held for you. I paused for you to throw in the disclaimer.
I do a little pause between going to DraftKings Casino app and sign up with the promo code JRVP to get your $100. I give a little pause and then I say gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Please play responsibly in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. 21 or over. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per opted-in new customer. It's a minimum $5 deposit. Max match $100 in casino credits, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions apply.
And that was.
Ad copy.
Let's get to headlines.
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
Oh, yeah, we're back with some headlines. Jussie Smollett. Remember that guy?
Fuck yeah, I do.
The guy from the show who faked the hate crime?
Empire. Listen, I'm very involved.
Believe me, I know. You single-handedly are like keeping the Jussie Smollett story alive, even 4 years later.
He didn't do anything wrong. You can't prove it.
It was a pre-pandemic story. Yeah, you were obsessed with it, and he did have to serve some jail time. He has immediately left jail, and he has immediately entered rehab, according to the New York Post.
Is this an old story? Like, because I remember he got sentenced,
Yeah,
and then he got out of jail immediately.
He served 6 days of a 5-month sentence. The story is new. Maybe it's not new. Maybe it was a year ago, and someone just sent it this week.
No,
I don't really know.
He's been appealing it, and so like he's been out of jail while awaiting appeal.
Anyways, he hit rehab, and I know you look for any reason to get him back into the show.
Listen, I love it. Aaron loves it. Aaron knows.
Yeah, I literally looked it up on my phone maybe 2 weeks ago.
This is the best story that's ever been told. This is a modern day Killers of the Flower Moon without all the you-know-what. I think the fact that he faked 2 hate crimes in the most incompetent way possible and then refused, like, we'll take it to the grave that he did not do this. And it is so, so funny. So to now be like, oh, I'm going to enter rehab, fix the issues that you may have had with me faking 2 hate crimes is once again hilarious.
Well, who says he's blaming it on the rehab? I mean, as far as I know, he is still proclaiming his innocence.
Yeah, of course.
You know, my wife went and saw him at the Troubadour. Yeah.
The one where he said we have to be blacker and gayer?
I don't know if that's...
That's the quote I read.
Well, that I think is a song. I think that's in his lyrics.
No, he said. I remember hearing about. He does a show at the Troubadour like 3 days after the second attack.
It happened on Monday.
Why
and it
did
was
your
Thursday.
wife go see him?
What?
She was in music, and so she went and saw.
She's fascinated by great music. Why wouldn't you? Why weren't you there, Greg? Why weren't you there? Black lives don't matter.
I mean, if he's not opening for Renner, I don't go.
Listen. He could have, if he didn't fuck it up, if he didn't fumble the bag. But I remember hearing that he put his hand up in the air and said, we need to be blacker and gayer, and was having a great time at that show, which made me think, you faked your hate crime. You faked your hate crime. And the second one. So I love it. I want to talk about it every time. I wish there were more documentaries. I wish there were more.
I think some could come out. Would you like to hear all his quotes after the fact?
Please.
Really crack me up. Quote, if I had done something, and this is, some of his denials, he's done it on the radio, he's done it in various forms. If I had done something like this, it would mean that I stuck my fist in the pain of black African Americans in this country for over 400 years. It would mean that I stuck my fist in the fears of the LGBTQ community all over the world. I am not that motherfucker, never have been, don't need to be.
Listen, this time, I believe him. I feel like he's done the work. He's proved to me. I love it. Hey, no, I didn't do that bad thing. That would be stupid.
Yeah, if I had done this, then I would have stuck my fist in the community.
Yeah, I never would have cheated on you. That would be stupid if I did that. I would hurt you, and I'd never hurt you. This is so funny.
Would you like me to read some of the lyrics from his R&B track called "Thank You God"?
Is it a new track, or is it?
I don't know.
Is it older?
He released it on streaming platforms. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how old it is.
Aaron, look it up. How old's the song?
Okay.
I mean, what does that matter?
Because if it's new, it's even more interesting.
Okay, I can't be mad. Take my ego out. Some people searching for fame, some people chasing that clout. Just remember this ain't that situation. You think I'm stupid enough to kill my reputation?
Okay. I'm feeling it.
Want me to keep going?
Yeah.
It's like they're hell-bent on not solving the crime, taking out the elements of race and trans and homophobia that's straight taking lives, but turn around and act like I'm the one that killed the strides. Oh. So he's saying they're acting like he's taking the movement and putting it in reverse. The whole movement. He's that powerful.
They're acting like he's the problem instead of giving him money. That's the problem. Jussie, I'm glad you're out of prison. Good luck to you in rehab. Can't wait to hear the new songs. Will you keep going with this shit? Or I'd love to see you act in anything. I would love to see you act in anything. And if you will introduce me in my stand-up special, I will pay you $1,000. Jesse! Jesse!
Okay,
I
his
will
agent
never get-
responds to you and says, "I'll do it for 40,000." I don't think one's getting it done.
No, I think I could get the other brother from Empire for 500.
That doesn't. Make
I could get the
sense.
other one.
Hakeem Lyon. I don't know his real name.
Yeah.
The
I could get-
the Joffrey of Empire, as I once tweeted.
I could get Gabor Nape Shabunaber.
A major Republican donor who called Barack Obama the N-word died last week after attempting to kill his wife in a murder-suicide gone awry.
This is okay.
At least he tried.
Imagine like your death is fucking up a murder suicide. So I assume he shot his wife and then shot himself and the wife lived?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And they still lead with, "You once called Barack Obama the N-word." Like, that is, just imagine him saying the word aloud and then realizing what he's done. I don't know how they caught him doing this. I believe a lot of people have called Barack Obama the N-word.
Oh, he did it publicly. He did it on like Facebook and stuff.
Okay, so it was like a post.
Yeah.
He pulled a Roseanne. I just think it is amazing that he died, went to St. Peter up in heaven, and they're like, "Hey, it's the guy who called Barack Obama the N-word." Like, that is you forever. That's you in eternity. I wonder if he shot his wife because she said nice things about Barack Obama.
She was in the parking lot of a restaurant called BurgerFi in Florida. Shocker. She's a psychologist. And then he ran inside the restaurant and then turned it on himself. But she did live, as you guessed.
She ran in after being shot.
Oh, I was like, he shot his wife and then was like, "I'm so hungry," and I was like, "Nah, I don't want this."
Okay, I read that wrong.
So he's in the car. He shoots her.
You didn't have to point that out, Aaron.
He shoots her.
Sometimes just let the host be wrong. Would anyone really know the difference? It's a podcast.
It's not my way, Greg. It's not my way.
I prefer to let Reddit sort it out. I like to make a mistake and then let them fact check us. It's funnier if he ran in the restaurant and shot himself.
I thought that.
Like if he shot
I
her
don't
and
know
then
why
was
I just like.
"I don't want to die alone." Like, "Oh man, we're 5 minutes to close. Who's this?" Boom.
So yeah.
Oh, saved by the bell.
He had been like a pretty popular guy in terms of political donations. He did over $200,000 to Ron DeSantis. We have a great picture, actually, I believe, Aaron, you have, of him wearing an American red, white, and blue jacket with Ron DeSantis and one of the Trump sons.
That is, I mean,
That's Don Jr.
Don Jr.
That guy walked into the store and was like, "I'm thinking about shooting my wife and then myself." And they were like, "Oh, what are you, a 40 regular? Here's your American flag jacket, you fucking loon."
You always got to be I mean, it's sad because, look, I love this country. I love living in America. And yet, if anyone really over-indexes in terms of wearing like American apparel, American flag, like the guy in the latest season of Love is Blind who always wore stars and stripes, like, you got to be worried about that guy. And he did turn out to be a total weirdo.
Spoiler
total
alert.
creep.
Spoiler alert.
JP.
You spoiled it more. I was like, I don't remember who that is. I watched a few episodes last night.
The guy who doesn't talk.
You know what's fun?
The guy who doesn't talk. He can't speak, and yet she was going to marry him.
Go see Killers of the Flower Moon. Take half an hour to walk home, talking about the movie, and then sit down and immediately watch 4 episodes of Love is Blind. That's how Scorsese would have wanted it.
It's a bad season. It's
Again,
the worst season I've ever watched of Love is Blind.
I bet the wife, and I've not enjoyed it. I bet the wife, as soon as he called Barack Obama the N-word, was like, "He's gonna fucking kill me." It's like it's step by step. You know, it's like, are you allowed to? If you're accused of domestic violence, can you own a gun? If you call Barack Obama the N-word on Facebook, should you get divorced right away?
This was 5 years ago, so she stood by him. It was actually Twitter. Now I'm reading it. He also, I think, tweeted this out, or he told reporters this, because he for a little while they were like putting him on Fox News shows and stuff. He was a thing, apparently. He said, quote, "So somebody like Chris Rock can get up on stage and use the word, and there's no problem. But some white guy says it and he's racist? Really? I grew up in New York in the 1950s." And then he goes into that they used to call him the K word, I guess you would say. And that just was the time.
You know, now I'm thinking about it. It is weird. Why can they say it? But we can't. Huh. Aaron, fix my Wi-Fi.
A Nebraska funeral worker was fired last week after he had sex with a life-size doll that belonged to a dead man whose body he was tasked with transporting. Police said he saw the sex doll after being sent to the dead man's apartment to retrieve the body, and he just couldn't resist.
So he came back later on to use a sex doll? Or
he came back later.
And how did they catch him?
Well, he got into the property was closed, and I think it was deadbolted and locked with a chain, and he actually had asked, he was sent back, and he asked for like permission so that the crime scene could be swabbed for a biopsy, which I guess made no sense.
See if the crime scene has cancer?
And they were just like, what the fuck is going on? And then they saw him. He allegedly walked out with his clothing disheveled and warned the building manager he would return with a warrant for the doll. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Nope. I got to say, this guy was dumb. There's better ways to handle this. I want to see what the sex doll looked like.
Yeah, there were no pictures. It was disappointing.
That is disappointing. Hey, I want pictures. I want some video. Show me all the angles. Take your phone and walk around the sex doll. Hold it up. Let me see it in the sunlight. But I get it. You're picking up a dead body from its home. It's probably been there for quite some time. Mm-hmm. What's that get you thinking about, Aaron?
Sorry, what I spaced out.
What does that make? You're picking up a dead body that's been rotting away in a home.
Oh my God, yes.
And you're going to pick it up. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
Boner City.
Boner City.
Yeah.
You're thinking about Boner City.
Yeah.
And that turns you on.
No, I mean I've got a boner. I've got boner.
Okay,
City
you're the mayor in this situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So you walk in, you smell the dead body, you see a part of it.
Yeah.
You are elected mayor.
And coroner. It's a small
and
town.
Coroner of Boner City.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 jobs. You know what? Let your wife stay home with the kid. You work 2 jobs. But when you see that sex doll, it's a perfect storm. I can't believe he resisted it. I'll tell you what. If I'm working for a coroner's office and they send me over to pick up a dead body, and I walk in, and within eyesight of the dead body is a sex doll, a used sex doll. Hey, I'm calling up my boss and saying, hey, buddy, I'm not coming back today.
I'm taking a lunch. I'm taking a long lunch.
I'm taking a personal day. Someone else can pick up the body, but wait 20 minutes. And I'll tell you what, when I walk out of there, I'm not disheveled at all. I look more put together than when I went in.
Yeah.
You
want to spend time with the sex doll.
Right. You want to impress the doll. You want to leave looking right. I wanted to clarify, like, he was there with another worker. He clearly was infatuated with the doll. So then came back later in the same day, called the property manager, and said that the sheriff's office was sending him back so that he could get the biopsy. And they were like, no. And then they noticed some sounds coming from the room a little later. The manager did, and he had like locked himself in there. He had just gone in anyways, and even though the manager had said no, and I think he got after it.
I'd like to go and look him in the eye and say, was it worth it? I'll tell you this though: if I walk into a room with a sex doll, a dead man's sex doll, a dead man's used sex doll, I'm walking out of that room, and you're gonna say, "Wait a second, did he have sex with that sex doll, or did the sex doll iron his clothes?"
Last headline.
Even young legends, like Timothy Chalamet, they need mentors.
Bones and all, baby.
And Timmy's found that mentor in Tom Cruise. Chalamet recently spoke about an email, Cruise keeping it a thing, that told Chalamet that in old Hollywood, you would be getting dance training and fight training, and nobody is going to hold you to that standard today. So it's up to you, Timothy. And Timothy said that email was really like a war cry.
Listen, Tom Cruise telling you need to learn how to fucking dance is a war cry. Okay? Hey, Tom Cruise, big fan. Oh, yeah? If you can't fucking cha-cha, then you can take all the Academy Awards and stick them up your ass. Okay? If you can't drive a motorcycle through a farmer's market without your hair getting messed up, then you're not going to be on the Walk of Fame. A war cry of an email. It's such a funny way to describe an email. Even if the email had been like, "I'm coming to kill you." I would not have described it as a war cry of an email. It's also funny to imagine Tom Cruise being like, TimothyChalamet@gmail.com. TimothyChalamet@yahoo.com. Timothy J. Chalamet. And like finding it. Like, I hope this gets through. Please get back to me. I would love a picture. Tom Cruise is out of his fucking mind in the best way possible. I love it. Timothy Chalamet. I don't love him. I don't love him. I'm not. It's something, and the whole Jenner thing of it all makes him more off-putting. Bro, just go be an actor. Just be happy being the non-cannibal in that one movie, and then being a cannibal in another movie. Remember that. Remember where you came from. Stop it with this Willy Wonka young nonsense. Nobody asked for it.
Little Women was good.
I didn't see it.
It's great.
It sounded too much like Little Women to me.
The note from Tom Cruise even included the name of experts that Chalamet might want to use for stunt trading, motorcycle, helicopters, like everything like that. And Chalamet added that Cruise's Top Gun Maverick had a huge influence on him, to the point where people on the set of Dune 2 almost were making fun of him because he watched it so much. He said he's watched it 8 times, but he thinks it's one of the great movies of all time.
I like that Tom Cruise wants to kill him. Tom Cruise sees Timothy Chalamet as a direct threat and wants to eliminate him. There's no other reason to email a stranger and say, "Start training to fight. Here's the name of a guy. He's going to get you ready for what's coming. Hell is coming." If you saw Timothy Chalamet and Tom Cruise in a movie, I'd be so pissed. Unless Tom Cruise kills him in the movie. Remember the movie with Matt Damon and the guy from Girls, Adam Driver?
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's in it.
The Last Duel.
The Last Duel, okay? That movie fucking rules, by the way. Ridley Scott always gets it done. Last Duel was slept on. It's a banger. I want to see The Last Duel with Chalamet and Tom Cruise.
Last Duel 2.
Last Duel 2.
TOO.
Last Duel 2, Battle Dads. Thanks, Tom. And now it's time for
Choo-choo!
Recommendation Station. Greg.
I'm going to recommend a short book, a novella called Foster by Claire Keegan. Wish I brought it because it's a beautiful cover, the edition that I have. I picked it up when I was in London. It's about 90 pages. It's about a young Irish girl in this kind of fucked up family who goes and stays with her uncle and aunt for the summer. And it's one of those books that I read that I was like, oh, I'm going to reread this a lot, like throughout my life. It was a classic. It was one of the Guardian's 50 best books of all time, which seemed outrageous for like a 90-page book, but her writing is awesome. I now want to read everything by Claire Keegan, and it won't take that long because she apparently writes like one 120-page, just like immaculate book every 10 years or something like that. And she's very popular there, even though I hadn't heard of her, but it's called Foster. It's by Claire Keegan. It's a very memorable story, and it's obviously a very quick read, too, because of the length, but it stuck with me. Very good. Foster by Claire Keegan.
I have read it as well. It is great. I've got also a short, I don't know if it'd be called a novella, but certainly a short novel. I was reading about Quentin Tarantino, and he was talking about things that he had talked about wanting to adapt that he never did, or projects he had talked about. Like he talked about Star Trek at one point, a Bond movie, and one of them was for a Elmore Leonard adaptation of a novel called 40 Lashes Less One. One of Tarantino's best movies, Jackie Brown, was an Elmore Leonard novel, and I love Elmore Leonard's writing. He's got great characters. And 40 Lashes Less One is a story about a black convict, prison convict, and a Native American prison convict who break out of prison and hunt down one of the other prisoners. And it's just fucking like badass exploitation. It's funny. I would have loved to have seen Tarantino make a movie out of it, but it's a great book, a quick read. You can do it in one sitting or one day. 40 Lashes Less One by Elmore Leonard. It's fantastic. Aaron, you got anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, did you guys see that movie Tetris
No.
on Apple Plus?
No. I know it's got the guy from...
Rocket Man.
Okay.
Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Okay.
It's great. It's really fun. It starts out with a lot of fun graphics to help kind of set up the whole story, but then it gets to be a really entertaining and suspenseful thriller.
When you say graphics, do you mean like little blocks?
Yeah, like video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine ever giving a fuck how Tetris came about.
I didn't think so either, but I heard people liked it, so I checked it out. I'm also paying for that service, and I need to use it, so.
I'll tell you what I do know is I was a fucking killer at Tetris.
Me too.
I was real good. And now Debbie, and hey, listen, Debbie, shout out to you at home. Your mom emailed me, Greg, last week.
Oh, wow.
And said I would love to come to one of your Boston shows.
Wow.
And I was like, name which one you want to come to, and I will have tickets for you, red carpet, whatever you want. And then she never responded. So Debbie, any show you want to come to in Boston, I'll have tickets for you for every show if you want. You just show up.
She'll specify.
You just show up. I love you, Debbie. Get us out of here.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado. That's a spicy meatball. Is that okay, Greggy?